Hey, Finru here, how you doing? I just thought I'd give you a quick update on what I'm doing. I've decided to go back to something I did a couple of years ago, which helped me with my brew days, was the overnight mash that I actually got off a fellow brew tuber, Stoney from Vineyard, and I'll put his link down below. Check out his videos. But he suggested one time a couple of years ago when I was struggling with the length of the brew days and my fatigue, to do an overnight mash. And about, I don't know, 8 or 9 months ago, I suppose, I started going back to doing it all in one day, and I was doing all right, but now I'm struggling again and haven't been enjoying my brew days like I should. So I've decided to go back to the overnight mash. So today's Wednesday, and my strike water's coming up. It's at 77 degrees now, and I'll wait till it gets to 75. I'll strike it in and mash it in, and then I'll cover it in blankets and everything like that, and probably put a rope around it, get it nice and tight and all secure. And then then tomorrow morning I'll come out, and all I have to do is mash out, and I'll let you know what the details and the numbers are from that. So I've done it before plenty of times. It works very, very well. The only problem I had when I used to do it was once I got up the next day to do my brew after overnight mash, and I just couldn't bring myself to brew. I was too tired. So what I did was I left it until the next day, and then I did it again, and so I brewed 2 days after the overnight mash, so it was 2 overnights, if you like, 2 overnight stops. And so I did that, and I came out, and I soured the mash. And I drank the beer when it was finally made, and it was sour, but so I learnt that, if you're going to do an overnight mash, only one night, and get it done as quickly as you can. So tomorrow morning I'll try and get up about 7 o'clock and mash out. It should be fine. So that's that. The other thing that's going on, I'll get into that shortly. The other thing that's going on is my poor old Digitech, through my own fault, has had its last days. This is my pH meter. It was a very good meter, but it wasn't looked after by me very well. So if you see one of these, you're thinking about buying it, then I personally recommend that you do. Problem is that I didn't look after it. I didn't know what I was doing with them. They're actually quite a sensitive piece of equipment, and they need to be looked after really well. And so the couple of problems that I had was the first thing, that not long after I first got it, this pulls out like that, and I submerged it in the mash up to about here because I thought it was waterproof. Well, of course, all the work got inside and pissed around with the electronics, stuffed them up, and I managed to pull it apart, dry it out, and get it working again, and it worked all right. But I was very lucky in that situation. The other thing too is in the inside on this one, there was some sponge material that was supposed to keep wet, and that sponge material after a while just fell apart, and I didn't replace it. And I think what happened was I ended up drying up the end piece. So I ended up stuffing it up myself, and I think I dried it out and using it in too hot a wort and things like that. I just didn't realise how sensitive they are. So that was my own fault. And that was a reasonable price, that one. I think it was $85. But if you ever see them, they are. I think they are a good unit. But anyway, I was in the brew shop today, and I was going to buy one of these at $85, but I ended up buying this one at $125. It's quite a nice looking unit by Hannah, and I don't know anything about it. I've just bought it. I'm going to go through all the instructions. I'm going to read them all. I'm going to set it. I'm going to learn how to use it before I use it. So what I'm trying to say to you guys is, when you buy a pH meter, treat it with care, because they aren't cheap. You can buy a cheap one if you want. I've never used a cheap one. I don't know if they're any good or not, but I guess you get what you paid for. So this one here I'm going to look after, and hopefully I'll get a good run out of it. The other one I got probably a couple of years out of it, so whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But I'll do a review on this once I get it up and running and learn how to use it. So that's that. Yeah, so it's quite nice to have new toys. 125. I thought, oh, $125. I want to spend that. But at the end of the day, I like the science side of brewing, and I like to know what's going on. So, you know, so that's it. So I'm just about. Oh, I'm at 74. I'm going to strike in now. Strike my water in, and I'll do another video tomorrow, and I'll catch up. Let you know what my numbers are. Yeah, so should be good. Oh, just one other quick thing before I go is this is the 2020 version of Old Finn. I've only just kegged it, and I've just had a sample taste, and I can really, there's a huge difference with using the Abbey Ale yeast as opposed to the Mangrove Jacks M15. This one is M47. It's the Abbey Ale yeast, M47, and I can really smell the dark fruits and sweetness coming through really nice. But as I say, I've only just kegged it. I think this yeast is going to, well, it's promising. It's very different for me. So I'll see what it's like in a couple of weeks or a week. I'll do a review on it, and I've put some what do you call it? Gelatine. I'll talk about that another time. How to clear your beer up. I've been using gelatine. And I'll tell you what, my beers are crystal clear. No problem there. I don't have a problem with using horses' toenails in my beer. Okay, so that's about it from me. So take care, cheers, and brew on. Contact you tomorrow about my overnight mash. Cheers.